This is Countryside News Channel, your official online and cable news channel, giving you the latest information from the province of Lanao del Norte. Countryside News Channel. Lanao del Norte Congressman Khalid Dimaporo has called for support from his colleagues in the lower house to support the Bangsamoro Basic Law or BBL as Congress prepares to deliberate the law that considered as the key for a lasting peace in Mindanao. According to Dimaporo, he will support any move from the Congress to ensure that the BBL adheres to the Philippine Constitution. However, Dimaporo believes that achieving peace in Mindanao, it should give Mindanaoans more than just the Bangsamoro. It needs immediate and concrete interventions to help the people, especially those living in abject poverty. He added that the government can sign as many peace agreements as it wants, but so long as poverty thrives in the region, there will always social unrest. Reporting for CS News Channel, I'm Raul Dorias Dinapo.
Mr. Speaker, I now move to recognize the gentleman from the 1st District of Lanao del Norte, Representative Muhammad Khalid Dimaporo, to avail of the privilege hour. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Honorable Khalid Dimaporo, 1st District, Lanao del Norte, is hereby recognized.
Auzu billahi minash shaitani rahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Speaker, colleagues, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For decades, the region of Mindanao can be characterized as a region of war. War against the MNLF, war against the MILF, war against the BIFF, war against the ISIS, war against the Abu Sayyaf, war against the Norte. Peace may be elusive in our region, but it is not impossible. And for Muslim Filipinos, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte made it very clear that in his administration, there will be a homeland for the Bangsamoro. Currently, believers of the Bangsamoro are pinning their hopes on the 17th Congress for the incumbent administration to deliver what its predecessor could not. It has been more than 30 years since the MILF endeavored on their armed struggle. The coming months will soon determine if that struggle can finally end. To begin with, some credit the Moro struggle to pre-colonial times, when the indigenous Muslim tribes of the Philippine archipelago fought against their invaders and colonizers, the monarchy of Spain. They continued to battle against the oppression of American rule, then subsequently against the control of centralist Manila. To date, the modern-day struggle for independence is attributed to the rise of the Moro National Liberation Front. The MNLF believed that Mindanao and the island of Palawan belonged to the Moro people. In pre-colonial times, these were Muslim-dominated regions. And because of colonization and migration of Philippine nationals, the Muslim population quickly became the minority. The MNLF championed the cause to return Mindanao to the Moros. This culminated with the Tripoli Agreement in 1976. 13 provinces were subjected to a plebiscite. Those with a majority vote supporting autonomy made up the current territorial composition of the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. When the MNLF signed a peace agreement with the national government, a breakaway group, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, picked up the cudgels to fight for true autonomy. Thus began their jihad for the establishment of a Bangsamoro identity and territory. The fight for their cause progressed as follows. In 1977, Hashim Salamat parted ways with Nur Maswari and the MNLF. He, with 57 former MNLF officers, established the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in 1984. When the MNLF signed the peace agreement with the Ramos administration, the MILF continued the rebellion against the Philippine government, emphasizing not only independence from the Philippine Republic, but also the establishment of an Islamic state and full application of Sharia law. The strength of the MILF was first displayed on the year 2000, when Commander Bravo of the MILF came down from Camp Bilal Munay and occupied the Municipal Hall of Kauswagan and the Iligan Pagadian National Highway, all in the province of Lanao del Norte. This prompted President Estrada to declare all-out war against the MILF. The 2000 all-out war military campaign started with the clearing of the MILF in Lanao del Norte and the fall of Camp Bilal in Munay, soon followed by the Battle of Matanog, Maguindanao, where the 6th Infantry Division was tasked to clear the Narciso Ramos Highway from 1,000 entrenched MILF fighters. After their success, the armed forces of the Philippines continued by capturing satellite MILF camps around Lake Lanao and Camp Busra, the second largest MILF base. The all-out war concluded on July 2000 with the fall of Camp Obabokar and the symbolic raising of the Philippine flag by President Estrada. During the Arroyo administration, the government returned to the negotiation table to discuss a peace settlement. On 2008, the Arroyo administration reached a breakthrough in the stalled peace negotiations and signed the Memorandum of Agreement for Ancestral Domain. Unfortunately, the MOA AD received political backlash. Rallies opposing the agreement were held across Mindanao. On August 4, 2008, the Supreme Court issued a TRO against MOA AD. As a consequence, war broke out again in Mindanao. The MILF converged in the interior municipality of Munay, Lanao del Norte. When enough troops have amassed from Lanao del Sur, they marched down with a contingent of 500 heading to the coastal town of Kauswagan and a force of 300 towards the coastal town of Kulambugan. Utilizing guerrilla tactics, they burned down homes, attacked and killed civilian populace, and took hostages to secure their safety as they retreated back to the interior. The 2008 MILF attack on Lanao del Norte resulted to more than 110,000 evacuees. Similar attacks occurred in the provinces of North Cotabato and Sarangani. The all-out war during the Estrada administration and the MOA AD attacks during the Arroyo administration displayed the MILF's military capability to bring strife to the region of Mindanao. War not only caused undue harm to the civilian population, but was also exhaustive on the national budget. So as soon as he was declared the overwhelming winner of the 2010 presidential elections, the incoming president-elect of the Philippines ensured the MILF leadership of his sincerity to craft a peace agreement within his term of office. In the administration of President Benigno Aquino III, on October 15, 2012, the Philippine government signed a framework agreement on the Bangsamoro, which paved the way to the crafting of a final peace agreement and the creation of a new political entity called the Bangsamoro to replace the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. The peace initiatives of the Benigno Aquino administration culminated on March 27, 2014, when the government of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front signed the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro. This is the final peace agreement that stipulates the decommission of the Bangsamoro Islamic Armed Forces and the surrender of their firearms to a third party in exchange for the establishment of an autonomous Bangsamoro, the product of which is the Bangsamoro Basic Law, which was submitted to the 16th Congress. The Bangsamoro Basic Law passed first reading in the 16th Congress on September 14, 2014. The law would abolish the ARMM and replace it with a new political entity, the Bangsamoro. The Bangsamoro will have more powers, resources, and a larger territory. However, the Bangsamoro Basic Law did not pass second reading in the House of Representatives of the 16th Congress. This was largely due to public outcry as a result of the Mama Sapano massacre. On January 25, 2015, 3 platoons of Special Action Force entered Mama Sapano with the objective of capturing Marwan, a bomb expert of Jamia Islamiyah. The operation ended up in a firefight that left 44 staff members dead. The BBL lost its popularity and faced possible rejection. The Bangsamoro was not delivered by the Benigno Aquino administration. Fortunately, towards the 2016 presidential elections, candidate Duterte committed to support the creation of a Bangsamoro state. Rodrigo Roa Duterte won the elections by landslide and became the 16th President of the Republic of the Philippines. On November 2016, President Duterte signed an executive order reconstituting the Bangsamoro Transition Council with the intention of making a more inclusive version of the BBL. On July 17, 2017, the Bangsamoro Transition Council completed its task and submitted a new draft of the BBL to Malacanang. The 2017 SONA message of the President quickly mentioned the BBL in 3 paragraphs. The President is quoted as follows: "In our sustained effort to achieve just and lasting peace for a unified nation, we are pursuing an inclusive peace process, promoting the participation of all stakeholders, including those conflict-affected areas. We took steps to promote inclusiveness in the Bangsamoro Transition Commission, in expanding its membership through Executive Order 8, which I signed in November last year, by giving representation to indigenous peoples, women, children, and sultanates, and key stakeholders in the drafting of the Bangsamoro Basic Law. We ensure a Bangsamoro government that truly reflects the aspiration of our Muslim brothers and sisters, as well as our indigenous brethren. To the dismay of those who anticipated the passage of the BBL in 2017, the SONA message of the President lacked a sense of urgency. Fortunately, both the Senate President and the House Speaker committed that the BBL will be identified as priority legislation when Congress opened its second regular session. Since the adjournment of our last session, September 20, 2017, last week, no representative has sponsored the Bangsamoro Basic Law as submitted by the Bangsamoro Transition Council. Instead, there are 3 versions of the BBL filed in the 17th Congress. House Bill 092, the refiled BBL from the 16th Congress, House Bill 6121, the Senate version of the BBL from the 16th Congress, and House Bill 6263, the non-expansionist version of Lanao del Norte. The treatment of the Bangsamoro Basic Law directly affects the province of Lanao del Norte. The province of Lanao del Norte has long been a victim of war between the Moros and the national government. We've seen war against the MILF and supposedly achieve peace in the Ramos administration, only to continue waging war with a different Moro group and attempt to reach another peace settlement. Now, in our second cycle of a peace agreement, why is peace with the Moros so elusive? In my attempt to understand their mindset, I believe the ideology for a Bangsamoro homeland is based on the argument that the Spanish never conquered areas of Mindanao and had no right to turn it over to the Americans as part of the Philippine archipelago. The fight for a Bangsamoro territory is a fight for sovereignty apart from the Philippine government. Unfortunately, sovereignty cannot be given to a subnational unit in a unitary form of government, the current form of government of the Republic of the Philippines. A unitary constitution is exercised by providing power to a central government. Power of the central government may be delegated, such as devolution to the local government units or autonomy for the region of Muslim Mindanao. Power is delegated by virtue of a creation of law, such as Republic Act 7160, the Local Government Code, and Republic Act 6734, the Organic Act for the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. However, the power given can also be taken away by law or by ruling of the Supreme Court. Jurisprudence in regards to the extent of autonomy can be cited in the case of Limbona versus Mangelen, Sema versus Dilangalen, and Kida versus the Senate. In the case of Limbona versus Mangelen, the Supreme Court ruled that the autonomous governments remain under the jurisdiction of the national courts. The ruling defined the limit of autonomous governments' rights to self-govern. In the case of SEMA versus Delangalen, Section 19 of Article 6 of Republic Act 1954 gave the arm the power to create and divide a province, but the Supreme Court overturned that section in the law and ruled against the creation of the province of Sharif, Kabunsuan. In the case of Kida versus the Senate, the Supreme Court upheld the appointment of a regional governor by the President for an autonomous region, which goes against the spirit of autonomy. These are examples of how the powers of autonomy can be taken back by the central government. This is the reason why the Moros continue their fight against the central government. They believe the Bangsamoro Basic Law will provide them with greater autonomy and achieve their right to self-determination. Much attention has been given to the demands of armed groups in their plight to correct a social injustice. Little attention is given to the position of peace-loving Muslim Filipinos, such as our communities in Lanao del Norte. I remember the height of the Bangsamoro Basic Law hearings in the last administration, when a team from OPAC came to Lanao del Norte to discuss the BBL, then from Congress, who were hesitant to enter the province, so they conducted hearings in Cagayan de Oro and Iligan. Then the Senate, wherein Senator Bongbong Marcos came to discuss the BBL with local officials. I kept silent on my stand with the BBL because as governor, the province is a mere recipient of the laws passed by Congress. I wanted Congress to pass judgment first before I speak, but the 16th Congress never did. Due to political clamor from our 22 mayors, 535 barangay captains and their kagawads, I had to express our stand on the Bangsamoro during a barangay congress. As provincial governor, my position was this: we do not need the Bangsamoro to have peace in Lanao del Norte because we already have achieved peace in our province. The Muslims and Christians of Lanao del Norte already live peacefully amongst each other. But if our brothers in Islam from the MILF and Lanao del Sur requires it, then we will stand united as a province in support of the Bangsamoro, provided that the people's voice will be heard in a plebiscite. We keep fighting with one another over control of territory. But as far as the province of Lanao del Norte is concerned, the prevalence of poverty is our true enemy. What we need from the national government is development. The national government can sign as many peace agreements as they want. But so long as poverty thrives in a region, there will always be social unrest. We cannot have sustainable peace without accelerated economic development. This is the position of peace-loving Filipino citizens from Lanao del Norte. In our experience, the pursuit for peace is also a pursuit for development. For example, in Lanao del Norte, Kapatagan Valley was once a hotbed of the New People's Army. One of their strongholds was Barangay Suso. Through local initiatives and political will, the barangay was bombarded with government projects, such as concrete roads, a water system, a multi-purpose hall, a daycare center, a barangay health station, and livelihood programs. The barangay became an example in the province of what we can achieve if we lay down our arms and work together for the benefit of our communities. This approach was replicated in all NPA-influenced barangays until finally, in 2011, we declared Kapatagan Valley free of insurgency. If the national government is serious about achieving peace in our area, they should give us more than just the Bangsamoro. We will never have peace so long as poverty remains persistent. The national government should strengthen development programs such as the Pamana program of OPAP, which are one of the tools to curb poverty in conflict-affected barangays. That was our position when I served as provincial governor. Now, as congressional representative I serve our province in a different role, in which I would like to reiterate my oath of office. I, Muhammad Khalid Dimaporo of the province of Lanao del Norte, having been elected as representative 1st District of Lanao del Norte, hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of my present position and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. As early as now, I can confidently say that I will vote yes for the Bangsamoro, but as my oath of office demands, it must conform to the Constitution of our Republic. I will support any move in the House of Representatives to ensure that the BBL adheres to our Constitution. The era of the Bangsamoro is close at hand. Its fate in the House of Representatives lies on the decision of Speaker Bebot Alvarez and the consensus of the super majority. The opportune timeline would be for Malacanang to sign before the May 2018 barangay elections. That's 7 months in total. The House has calendared 1 month adjournment of Congress between October and November, and 1 month adjournment of Congress between December and January. That leaves only 5 official working months left to approve the BBL in the House and the Senate. So until we begin the House deliberations on the Bangsamoro, this representation, along with the thousands of Mindanaoans for and against, affected by the BBL, will wait patiently to see if the dream of a Bangsamoro will remain elusive or be finally delivered. Thank you, dear Khalid, Speaker. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
This is Countryside News Channel, your official online and cable news channel, giving you the latest information from the province of Lanao del Norte. Countryside News Channel.